Everything you're about to hear is legal. Every industry mentioned is one you trust, and every story came from someone who worked inside it. We asked professionals one question: what's the dark secret in your industry that regular people know nothing about? And what they told us will change how you see the world. Today we've got confessions from someone in addiction treatment who'll make your blood boil, a jail worker with a nightmare you can't escape, a web developer who's already stolen your data, a hotel employee who'll make you never trust a clean room again, a customs broker who'll terrify you about what crosses our borders, a technical writer who's never touched the products you buy, an archaeologist with the weirdest professional habit you've ever heard, a pizza chain employee who'll ruin your dinner plans, and several more that operate in plain sight. 15 stories, ranked by damage. Some will make you angry, some will make you sick. All of them are happening right now. Let's get into it.
Secrets from addiction treatment. Body brokers and manufactured relapses. Number 1 is the most evil thing I've ever heard. This is about addiction treatment in America. I worked in the substance abuse treatment industry for 6 years. What I'm about to tell you is documented and happening right now. It's called body brokering. Rehab is expensive. Insurance companies pay tens of thousands per patient. So treatment centers hire body brokers, recruiters who find addicts with good insurance and convince them to check in. The broker gets a commission from the insurance money. But here's where it gets evil. Brokers are paid more when patients are worse off. The higher the substance level in your system at admission, the more money insurance pays. The cruelest part? These people genuinely want help. They're at their most vulnerable, desperate to get clean, and they're being treated like inventory. Their suffering is a business model.
That's not healthcare. That's farming human misery for profit. The system designed to help people beat addiction is sometimes the same system keeping them addicted. That's not a dark secret. That's pure evil. Number 2 is about mental illness in jails. This one will break your heart. The mental health loop.
I've worked at a county jail for 8 years. The most disturbing thing I see is what happens to mentally ill inmates. They get trapped in a loop that destroys them. An inmate with schizophrenia or severe bipolar comes in. They're a danger to themselves, so no clothes, no items, nothing they could use for self-harm. Just a safety smock. They're locked down 23 hours a day. No socialization, no programs, just isolation. But isolation makes mental illness worse, so they get more agitated, more desperate. When we let them out for that 1 hour, they lash out at staff. Then they get locked down again for longer. It's a vicious cycle. Staff can't do anything. Let them socialize and someone gets hurt? Lawsuit. Hospitals won't take them, too dangerous. So they're stuck in jail, deteriorating daily. The only hope is medication, which can take months or years to stabilize them. Meanwhile, they're in a concrete box going insane. Jails have become America's largest mental health institutions. But we're not hospitals. These people needed treatment. Instead, they got a cage. And the system designed to contain them is actively making them worse.
The criminal justice system accidentally became the mental health system, except it's the worst possible version. That's not containment, that's torture with legal paperwork. Number 3 affects everyone watching this. It's about what happens when you browse online.
I've been a web developer for over a decade, working on lead generation sites. Here's what you need to know. When you start filling out an online form and then change your mind and close the tab, they already have your information. Most companies use real-time data capture. The second you start typing, that data is sent to their servers. Every keystroke, name, email, phone number, all captured before you hit submit. The submit button is just theater. It moves you to the next step, but the data transfer already happened. Every abandoned cart, every half-filled application, they have it all. You're paying for the internet with your data, whether you consent or not.
So, "I didn't submit the form" is a lie we tell ourselves. The moment you start typing, you're already compromised. That's not sketchy, that's the complete erosion of consent. Story 4. Musical rooms. Secrets from a hotel worker. The hospitality industry. If you travel, this will make you uncomfortable.
I worked at an airport hotel for 3 years. We routinely sold the same room multiple times within hours. Not overbooking where we find another room, literally putting different guests in the same room. Here's how it works. Guest checks out at 2 a.m. for an early flight. Their room is technically theirs until 11 a.m., but we have a new guest arriving at 3:30 a.m. So the moment that first guest leaves, we scramble. 15-minute speed clean. One person strips the bed, another wipes surfaces, someone hits the bathroom. I've personally run kettles under cold water to hide that the previous guest used it 20 minutes ago. I've fluffed pillows that were just being slept on. We tell the new guest there's a system issue and to wait 15 minutes. We're not preparing anything. We're buying time for the room to stop looking obviously occupied. This isn't sketchy budget motels. This is major chains. Every empty room is lost revenue, so hotels push the limits of what's physically possible.
So, freshly cleaned room means we changed the sheets real quick and hoped you didn't notice. That 3-star rating just lost all meaning. Lobbyists write the laws. Okay, so next one is about government, how laws actually get made, and it'll make you angry.
I've worked as a legislative staffer for state legislators for almost a decade. The vast majority of bills are not written by legislators. They're written by lobbyists, word for word. A lobbying group has a policy goal. They draft full bill language. Then they approach a friendly legislator and say, "Here's a bill that would be great for the economy. Would you introduce it?" The legislator says yes. They take that exact language and introduce it as their own bill. I've personally watched my boss receive a Word document from a lobbying group on Monday, and by Thursday, that exact language is on official letterhead with the legislator's name on it. Sometimes, not a single word changes. The bill might get amended in committee, but the core framework came from outside the government, from people with a financial stake in the outcome. ALEC provides model legislation to conservative legislators across the country. Hundreds of pre-written bills, plug and play. Progressive groups do the same thing. So when you see news about your representative authoring a bill, there's a decent chance they didn't author anything. The actual authors are people you didn't elect and who have a vested financial interest in the outcome.
So democracy is just corporate lawyers playing legislative mad libs while politicians provide the signature. That's not democracy. That's theatre with really expensive tickets. Okay, so next is secrets from a customs broker. Border security runs on trust.
I've been a licensed customs broker for 15 years. Every day, hundreds of thousands of shipping containers arrive into the U.S., and customs physically screens maybe 3 to 7% of them. That's it. The volume is incomprehensible. Major ports process tens of thousands of containers daily. There aren't enough officers or scanners to check everything. So here's how it works. We file paperwork declaring what's in the shipment. Customs takes our word for it and releases it. When you become a customs broker, you take an ethics pledge. You're supposed to be a partner with CBP in upholding the law. The whole system is built on trust. But think about what that means. If someone wanted to smuggle contraband, the odds of getting caught are less than 10%. File paperwork saying it's industrial machinery, and unless CBP randomly selects your shipment, it just clears customs. There are risk assessment algorithms. High-risk countries get scrutinized more. But for the average shipment from a legitimate-looking business, it's basically the honor system operating at global scale.
So all those debates about border security, the actual system is, we'll check 5%, and hope everyone else is honest. That's not security. That's a suggestion box with legal authority.
I've written instruction manuals for 8 years, and half the time, I've never touched the product. Companies send a few blurry photos and a vague description. That's it. So I'm writing step-by-step instructions for furniture or appliances I've never seen. I browse Reddit, read complaint threads, and build the manual from angry customer posts. I once wrote a 30-page guide for a 300-piece bookshelf using 6 photos and an email that said, "Wooden bookcase requires assembly." Total guesswork, written confidently. This is normal. Shipping products to writers costs too much, so manuals aren't instructions. They're educated fiction that sounds certain.
So instruction manuals are creative writing exercises with technical vocabulary. That's why insert tab A into slot B never works. The writer was guessing from a grainy photo. Next one is secrets from an airline worker. The overbooking gamble. Airlines overbooking, everyone knows. But let's talk about the strategy.
I worked in airline operations for 5 years. Airlines use sophisticated algorithms analyzing historical no-show rates. They know 5 to 10% of passengers won't show up, so they deliberately sell more tickets than seats. Flight has 150 seats? They sell 165 tickets. They're gambling enough people won't show up. Most of the time they're right, but sometimes everyone shows up. Now you need to bump 15 people. Gate agents start offering vouchers. $200, $300, $400. Here's what passengers don't realize. Hold out. The longer you wait, the higher it goes. I've seen $800 to $1,000 for international flights. I once held out to $250 direct check on a domestic connection. Spent 2 hours watching Netflix, caught the next flight, made $250. But most people take the first offer because they don't understand the negotiation. Airlines do this because empty seats are lost revenue. They'd rather occasionally pay bump compensation than have flights take off with empty seats. The math works in their favor.
So your seat isn't yours until you're physically in it. Until then, it's just a probability in an algorithm. That's not customer service. That's casino economics with pretzels. So, next one is secrets from a teacher. Your kids tell us everything. After that heavy section, let's lighten up. This is about teaching. And parents, you've been warned.
I've been teaching elementary school for 12 years. Your kids tell us everything. Every family secret, every awkward situation, your 6-year-old is announcing it to 25 kids and me. Kids don't have filters. One first grader came up during music class and said, "I have 2 daddies." I thought, okay, modern family, progressive. I said, "That's wonderful. Let's practice piano." But she wasn't done. One of my daddies goes on long business trips, and when he's gone, Mommy and I go live with my other daddy. Then, when my first daddy comes home, we go back. I froze. This child had just casually revealed what was clearly an affair situation. 2 households alternating, and she had no idea adults would want this private. This happens constantly. Kids tell us about financial problems, parents fighting, who's sleeping where, what you said about the teacher. We can't tell you what your kid revealed. We just smile and redirect to piano scales. Assume whatever happens in your house, your child's teacher knows within 48 hours. Kids are enthusiastic reporters with 0 discretion.
So your private life is being broadcast during show and tell. Teachers aren't gossiping about you. Your children are doing it for them. Next one is secrets from archaeology. We lick artifacts. After all that corruption, let's talk about something just weird. This is from archaeology.
I've done fieldwork for over 6 years. Archaeologists lick artifacts. It's standard practice. On a dig site, you find hundreds of items. You need to quickly identify them. Is this pottery or bone? Here's the trick. Bone sticks to your tongue. Pottery doesn't. If you lick it and your tongue sticks, it's bone. We also tap things against our teeth. Rock hurts and makes a hard sound. Pottery is softer, doesn't hurt your teeth. These are fast, reliable identification techniques taught in field school. When normal people find out, they're horrified. You're licking 2,000-year-old bones? Yeah, and tapping pottery against our incisors. It works. Most bacteria is long dead anyway.
So Indiana Jones was out there licking ancient relics. Museum artifacts have been in someone's mouth. Archaeology is extremely educated people aggressively licking old stuff. That's it from our side today. Look, I'm not saying every system is broken, but a lot of them are. More than you'd think, more than is comfortable. The world runs on trust. We trust the system works, that people follow rules, that protections actually protect us. But every system has cracks, every industry has secrets. That's not because people are evil, though some of this genuinely is. So what do? Be skeptical. Ask questions. Don't assume legal means ethical. Vote with your wallet. Support companies with actual integrity. And maybe don't tell your 6-year-old about your personal life, because they will absolutely snitch. Stay informed, stay skeptical. The world is weirder and worse than you thought, but at least now you know. I'll see you in next podcast.